Number 2, that's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're rocking with you till noon. Then we'll hand it off to D-Lo and KC, and they will take you up to 4 o'clock. One of the fun things that happened in the Kings game last night was the Sacramento Kings were not the only people in the building who found their three-point shot. Our guy Ish Oganessian was selected to participate in a contest where he could win a car if he hit a couple of free throws, and then he needed to hit a three-pointer, and then he needed to hit a half-court shot to win the car. I've seen this contest a couple of times. Nobody's even gotten close. Our guy Ish drilled the half-court shot to walk out of there with a car. He's joining us now because, Ish, I have so many questions. Thanks for jumping on, man.
Yeah, Thanks for having me, guys.
My first question, you win a car, do you just drive it out of the arena?
No, I wish. That would be kind of cool.
How does it so afterwards you celebrate, you got Scott Freshour being crazy aggressive, but you win, and then what happens? Like, what take us through. I hate this question when people ask this of athletes, but I mean, you're an athlete now. Congratulations.
I appreciate
it. Did you just black out? Do you remember everything? How did that go after you hit the half court shot?
Honestly, so after the shot went in, I didn't know what to do. I just kind of stood there like in shock, and thankfully Scott came over and like gave me a little chest bump. So I didn't know what to do.
Right.
So it was fun. I got to like walk out through the tunnel, and then it was in the back. Everyone was high-fiving me. All the King staff were like super awesome. And then I had to sign a piece of paper, and I went back to my seat. So it was kind of cool.
It sounds pretty nice, but now you get to go pick up a new Tacoma, right? Toyota Tacoma pickup. How sweet is that?
It's pretty cool. I'm not a big truck guy, so I'm kind of excited to see what it's like.
Oh no, you're not a truck guy. Now, are you worried you're gonna have to pay like so much money in taxes? You're gonna be like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah, I've thought about that.
Bad that you did this.
Dude, why did I have to hit that half court shot?
You wouldn't be. Did people like recognize you afterwards? Did people come up like, hey, great shot?
When I was walking back like through the concourse, there were a couple people who like gave me high fives, like, dude, that was awesome. And then when I got back to my seat, I had a couple friends like in a section nearby, and they were all cheering for me. So that was cool.
Nice. How do you get selected for something like this? We're talking with Ish Oganessian, and he hit a half court shot to win a car at the Kings game last night. And I've never actually been in a position where when somebody does this that I can find them and talk to them, perks of the job. So I have a lot of questions. How did you get selected for this?
So I walked into the stadium. I'm walking to my seat. I got my Fox jersey on. I got the hat on. And one of the workers came up to me and was like, hey man, like, do you want to do the Toyota shot like half court? And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, no question.
Just random.
Easy. That's nice.
You're just a random of the random. Sweet. So do you get to choose your color, or is there a car already waiting there for you? Do you have any idea what's next for you?
No idea. I was just told a rep would reach out, so I'm waiting for the rep, I guess.
You were wearing a De'Aaron Fox jersey, you had a Kings hat on. Lifetime Kings fan?
Yeah, I've been a Kings fan. I lived in Sacramento pretty much my whole life. I'm a season ticket member right now, so I just like split with my parents, and yeah.
Love this.
Man. Are your parents going to want part of the truck?
Oh, that's a great question.
That's a great question. I honestly, if my dad wants it, it's his. He can have it.
Oh,
wow! What a nice guy. Did you play basketball growing up? The chatty house was saying it looked like you put up a few jump shots in your day.
Yeah. So I played high school. I graduated in 2015. I went to Del Campo. High school basketball is the extent of my career, and then after that,
played a little bit. You've hooped a little bit.
Yeah, I could play a little bit.
But it's still Campo, man. That's not. I don't know.
Oh wow,
that's not really hooping.
This is not my beef. You guys.
Okay.
I'm a Nevada Union guy, so I mean, like,
when it's wild that they found somebody who played high school basketball, especially because, like you said, it's just kind of random. Like they're just picking somebody. Because I've seen some folks go out there for these contests, and it's like, oh no.
I think you booed somebody. I remember.
Oh, at the last game, yeah, I booed the hell out of somebody.
You were saying boo that man because he couldn't hit a free throw.
I mean, just brutal, and not like, oh man, he's just rimming him out, like missing bad.
Yeah, because he did the same contest, and I think he missed like 7 straight free throws.
And I don't mind missing a free throw. If you've not hooped before, I don't mind that, right?
Yeah.
It's when, like, hey, you're missing to the right, do something different.
Yeah, it was not good. It was
Yeah,
not
no,
good.
that guy got a big thumbs down for me. Ish, so you're a season ticket member, so you'll go to more games then. This will be
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow for the Cup game. I'm super pumped about it.
awesome.
Sweet.
Man. Well, hey, dude, really appreciate the time. Really appreciate you hopping on with us and answering all of our questions. I saw you hit that shot. I saw the video that went viral on King's Twitter, and wanted to get you on. So really appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Good work, man.
Clean shot.
There he goes. Ish Oganesian, winner of a car at the Kings game last night. I may never see that again.
No, I mean, like first, he had to hit the free throw. Then he backs up to the 3-point line, hits that. And then I look up I'm like, oh, that's in. Like right when it.
Just knew it was cash.
Oh, yeah. Right when it left his hand. I mean, like from that angle, I can tell you almost any shot that's going in or not. And clearly it was like, oh, look at that. That's going in.
And yeah, because you can definitely, and you can tell too, like when somebody has played a sport before or knows a little bit what they're doing. And he said, because when I reached out on Instagram, I was like, hey, this is probably weird, but do you want to talk about this on the radio? Super nice guy.
Yeah,
really
that's
cool.
awesome.
Shout out to Ish for making time for that. But I reached out and he was like, yeah, I was kind of bummed because I went like 1 for 3 from the free throw line.
Oh.
And I went, oh, so I think he's played before. Because nobody who's not played. I also feel like if you've not played a lot of hoop, if you're just going on the court and like, hey, fast pace, you're on time, you got to just grab a ball out of a rack and throw it at the rim. If you've played before, you have a way better chance of having that calibrated correctly than if you're just rando.
Oh yeah, totally. So, because we've seen this for years. It didn't used to be you have to have a free throw and then you have to go, to the 3-point line and then you have to race back to the half court line because by that point, like you're exhausted, right?
Yeah.
So for me, like watching somebody like cold just come in, like a couple of free throws. Okay, it's not going great. And like I have no idea what's going to happen next because he doesn't look like he's got it. But stepping behind an NBA 3-point line, like that is a deep shot.
You don't get a feel because the players are all giants. They are all superheroes.
Yes.
And so the court looks small. But then you go stand there.
It's
stand in the corner.
Long way.
The corner's the shortest one, right?
That's the one that I hit in a practice when Buddy Hield was chirping and I nailed a 3 and then walked away and I've never shot another one.
I would never shoot a basketball again for the rest of my life. You did it. That's an amazing accomplishment. That's like the shortest 3 and that is so far away.
Even like if anyone has gone out and shot high school basketball, I think high school basketball is like 21 feet.
Yeah.
Like an NBA 3 is like 23.8.
Yeah.
Like it's way outside.
3 feet further back. It's
yeah.
So far.
22.8, 23. Like
it's the pressure of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people yelling and screaming. You hit the 3 and then race back. And again, perfect trajectory. Just absolute, like, it was like, right in. It wasn't like some crazy wild. He just looked like he was gonna, I got this. And just like hit the square right behind the
bank it home,
the rim, and just boom,
banks open
right through.
If you are not an NBA player, you 100% don't get crap for banking the shot in.
There we go.
Oh, Ish, my guy. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate you. Welcome to the Chatty House.
That's right.
We're here 10 a.m. to noon every day.
I can't believe you might give that truck to your dad. Now I might adopt you. If you want to give it to me, Ish, I will adopt you, and then you can give me the truck.
Yeah, man. I hope that works out for him. That's
Mark Wong
remarkable stuff. That was the vibe I think the Kings needed.
Yeah.
19. Yeah, so it's 4 feet further back in the NBA.
Yeah, the NBA I think is 23. 23.
That sounds right to me.
23.6. 20. Now I've got to look that up.
Now the Chatty House is asking Ish questions. They needed it last night.
Oh, look at that, 23-foot.
Nice, dude.
Nailed it.
Needed someone to hit the threes. Ish got him. Salute.
Yeah.
Set a tone.
So at that point, because I wasn't fully paying attention when he was shooting his free throws or the 3. I was because it was the Kings were on a run. They were on a they'd hit the first 7 shots of the game, and I think I tweeted out, some dude just hit a 3. The Kings and Kings fans are now 8 of 8 from the field.
Nice. Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Very, very good. All right. Speaking of the Kings game last night, does DeMar DeRozan's back issue concern you at all?
Well, I mean, as a guy with back problems, when you hit 35, those back problems become more and more of a problem. And like, look, I think the joke is sitting right there. Like, there's been plenty of games where he's been backpacking this team.
Sure.
And sure, his back should be a little bit sore from this. But for me, like, look, this is why you try to avoid playing your 35-year-old guy 37 minutes a night. I mean, DeMar DeRozan came into that game, I believe he was leading the league in minutes played.
Yeah.
And like, you need to be conscious of that. And again, I don't think he was right the whole game. Like, he played 17 minutes, but he was not himself on the offensive end.
No, it didn't look right for sure.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't shock me. So that's what we'll obviously wait for an update. Neither of us are doctors. Neither of us know what's going on with his back, but
yeah,
it did have the feel of he played the first half and then went, hey, it's just not right today.
Yeah.
One of those, if it's a playoff game, maybe he guts it out.
Yeah. Plus, like, look, they have all of the medicines. They have all of the treatments. They have a masseuse on staff who, like, probably had him on a table, like, working on his back midway through the third quarter. Like, then ice tubs and heat tubs and everything. Like, they're working on this thing overtime. I would be surprised if he missed major time. But hey, you never know. Like, you're hoping that it's nothing substantial, especially with Malik Monk out.
Yeah. The thing that was encouraging, though, is that we talked about this a little bit earlier before we had to evacuate the studio. If you missed it, they were worried about a gas leak in the building, so we all had to leave.
It's been a day.
We're back, though. That's James. I'm Kyle. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. The fact they stayed in their offense and didn't all of a sudden, the fact they just reverted right back to, okay, move the ball, dribble handoffs. De'Aaron's going to be the dude when we need a bucket, but other than that, going to stay in the. That was really encouraging for me. Where if DeRozan if he is out tomorrow, it's Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
If he is out tomorrow against, I'm not like, oh my God, I don't know what they're going to do. I think they have the horses to make up for that absence for a small stretch.
Yeah, and I would even say if he's feeling good enough to play tomorrow, but then they didn't play him the next night against Utah, I wouldn't be like completely shocked.
Yeah.
Because there is like an elevated, this is a cup game, and you're trying, and not only that, but you already lost to Minnesota once. So I think that there is going to be a little bit more importance on it. I also, like, shout out to Mike Brown, who on the fly, like, didn't even really know at halftime, like, hey, we got to make a lineup change. And you have options. Like, I don't think they really knew what to do there, but to throw Keon Ellis in and move Kevin Huerter to the small forward spot, I thought that worked really, really well. And to be honest with you, I think Kevin Huerter should play quite a bit of small forward. Like, moving forward, I think that you need to rely more and more on him.
Yep.
Just because I think he's better defensively at the small forward spot. And I also think, his ability to shoot the ball, maybe he'll get a little bit more leeway and better spacing playing that position as opposed to the two the whole time.
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. Somebody in the chatty house, where is it at? JTZ said, I think the offensive rebounds scared me the most. The Suns did pull down 19 offensive boards last night.
Yeah.
And here's my theory on this. So Yusuf Nurkic had 5. He went just 1 of 7 from the field, by the way. Royce O'Neal 2 for 12. 6 offensive boards for Josh Okogie. 5 for Yusuf Nurkic. Devin Booker had 2. Tyus Jones had 2. Ryan Dunn had 2. It looked to me like the Suns were flooring it early to see if they could just like keep it close and gut it out. And you could tell with about 7 minutes left in the third, 6 minutes left in the third, they just ran out. They just ran out of gas.
Yeah, totally. And like, look, I'm also going to point this out. The Suns started in the first quarter. They were 11 of 27 from the field. So number one, they outshot the Kings. They had 8 more field goal attempts than the Kings because of all the offensive rebounds. They had a crazy 7 offensive rebounds in that first quarter.
Man.
But the point that I want to make here is that they were 4 of 14 from behind the arc. They're playing on the second night of a back-to-back. There were a lot of crazy rebounds. And I want to say, hey, the Kings were just horrible rebounding. No. Like, the ball was coming off the rim and flying in all kinds of different directions because they had tired legs. And I want to say that, like, oh, this is who the Kings are. They're a bad defensive rebounding team. I can look it up. I guarantee you the Kings are in the top 10 of all offensive rebounding teams in the league. That's where they have been they've been defensive rebounding. Defensive rebounding percentage, they've been in the top 2 in the last 2 seasons.
Also with Josh Okogie specifically, that's just kind of his bag. He'll do that a few times a year where he out energies people.
He'll go full Josh Hart on you.
Yeah, man. So I don't. It was definitely, if you're trying to find little red flags from last night, that's definitely one. But until that becomes something that game in and game out is losing the Kings games, I'm not going to be super concerned about it.
Yeah, I think that there were 2
Definitely
issues
worth noting.
There were 2 issues early.
Yeah.
One of them has become more of a trend, which is alarming. The first was the offensive rebounding, and the second was the turnovers. The turnovers were horrible early on, especially look at a certain point. DeMar DeRozan, he's really got to focus in, and not DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, and not. He turned the ball over 7 times last night. I think he's got 22 turnovers in the last 4 games.
This is where I wanted to go next. It was a weird Domantas Sabonis game.
Yeah, very, very strange.
Because it wasn't, I wouldn't say he played, it wasn't bad, but also he's just so much better than he was last night. And yeah, you're right. So over the last 3 games, he's at 17 turnovers. He's had 1 game this year where he had 0. And he's had more than 2 in all but 3 games.
Yeah.
Man,
the matchup with Plumlee, for whatever reason, has always caused problems. Plumlee forces. But last night, I didn't even see, it was like a lot of just drop balls. It just not, Sabonis, I just didn't think he had, whatever the focus was. He had 2, he missed a dunk, and then he went up for a wide open dunk, and the ball flipped out of his hands and shot over the basket.
That was crazy.
Yeah, the turnovers were wild. And then I think he had a moving screen. That's another offensive, an offensive foul is a turnover. So yeah, there were definitely a couple of things.
It feels like there was maybe it's just a Suns specific thing. Maybe they have the personnel to do this. But when he gets the ball in the post, it feels like teams immediately just start whacking away at the ball.
Yeah.
And he holds it too low maybe, or maybe he's too predictable. I'm not totally sure. But it seems like that was a thing the Suns were doing every single time he got the ball in the post. They were immediately gunning to get it out.
Yeah, totally. And look, the combo of Nurkic and Plumlee, they're not world beaters, but what they are, they're very, very solid veterans, and they're tough guys. Both of them are tough guys. And both of them are also really, really highly rated in box outs. So Sabonis not getting a bunch of rebounds.
Yeah.
Those guys are well-known guys that maybe don't have huge rebounding numbers, but they put a body on somebody and drive them out of the key, and they do a really good job of it. So, and I want to, the Kings are 7th right now in defensive rebound percentage. And if I took away last night's game, I bet you that number, they jump into the top 4. That's who they've been the last couple of years. They're a really good defensive rebounding team. Sorry if I said offensive. But yeah, they're a really good defensive rebounding team.
Yeah, I'm not super concerned about the offensive rebounding from the Suns last night. I think that was their one. That was where they were going to expend their energy, see if they could stick around, and then they just didn't. And like you said, the weird rebounds, and I'm not. Nah.
Yeah, missing a ton of threes doesn't help any of that.
Yeah. I like Josh Okogie, man. He's just a dog.
He is. He's the type of player I think the Kings could use, but it's also the type of players that they've tried to search for. It's there's a group of them that they keep trying to figure out, how they fit in.
Around the NBA, the Kings weren't the only. There's one game tonight. I saw Sass point this out in the chat, and we were talking about this a little bit before the show. There's one basketball game tonight. The Mavericks visit the Jazz, and that's the lone NBA action happening tonight. That's so odd.
It's really odd. We do have a small amount of breaking news.
Oh.
Orlando Robinson
Oh.
has been assigned to the Stockton Kings, which that's a positive step in his return to play.
Yeah.
That means that, hey,
great.
look, the Kings don't have a bunch of practice time.
A little rehab assignment.
Yeah, go get a little practice. Maybe go get a little, run up and down the court. Maybe play a game or two. I don't know, but yeah, that's good to see.
Yeah, he's a player that it sounds so silly because like Orlando Robinson's not like a great player or anything, but he is, if he's effective, he's the kind of player the Kings could potentially use.
Mhm.
Where he's playing that kind of like JaVale McGee backup big role, and doing so differently than Alex Len does it.
Yeah,
but I also don't know if Orlando Robinson is an effective NBA player. So
I think that's
we'll have to wait and see.
the biggest question. I mean, like when you look at him and you watch footage of him, the body type reminds me of Al Horford, and a little bit of the game. He can shoot the three. He's a big dude. Like I think 7'4" wingspan.
Yeah, he's a large person.
Yeah, he's a legit 7-footer, 235, 240 pounds. Yeah, you never know. Maybe he does fit in, and maybe there is a possibility that he starts getting some game action here in the coming weeks. But it's tough. He's missed all the training. Well, a bunch of training camp.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's there for like the first 4 or 5 days. He was healthy leading up to that, so he had been playing with the guys. And there's a good buzz about him. Like there was a lot of people saying, "Hey, he's played really well leading up to the injury." And then it's an MCL sprain, so he's been out of action for a while.
Yeah, that's good that he's going back to Stockton, get some practice. I wouldn't be surprised if he played in a game or two. Get his legs back under him.
Yeah, I think so too. And like he's not a high flyer. I think that's what he's not like a true lob threat. I'm sure he can dunk. I mean, he can probably dunk standing on his tiptoes.
Good news. The 7-foot guy can dunk.
Yeah, with a 7'4" wingspan. Yeah. Yeah, I think he can probably stand like on his tiptoes and just dunk. But this is a guy that like don't expect him to be a true JaVale McGee type aerial artist. That's not sort of his game.
Right.
He's more of a ground-based big.
Yeah.
And that's why the comparison that I make to Al Horford, more of a ground-based big.
Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. A couple notes from around the NBA. We'll dive further into this, but Giannis scored 59 last night in an overtime win over my Pistons. I thought the Pistons were going to get him. I was going to come in strutting today. The Pistons won that game.
They're playing so much better.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
And the philosophy of get the vets around the young guys, it's working. Cade Cunningham looks like a player. Jaden Ivey looks like he's turning a corner. Excited about my Pistons over 26.5 wins. Also, Wemby scored 50 last night. He's figuring it out, and it's not just that he's hitting threes now. He is hitting them from everywhere. He hit 3 from like 6 feet beyond the arc last night.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do?
You have to pick him up. You have to pick him up as he's coming across the timeline. Don't let him put the ball on the floor. I mean, that's what I think the next step is it teams like, because we talked about this. Hey, keep him out of the paint, right? Push him out. No, that didn't work. That doesn't. I mean, if he's going to hit from out there, what did he hit? 8 threes?
Something like that.
Yeah.
8 of 16, I think.
Yeah, just absolutely crazy. And he went from shooting 22% to 28%. Now he's shooting 34% from 3, I believe.
Yeah, I am
in 2 games.
I don't know. It's just this is going to be super niche, but I hope people follow. Remember Mike Trout in like 2012, 13? He like really broke out and became like an MVP candidate type. There was a year, I think it was the 2014 season, where he could not hit high fastballs. High fastballs, he was just no dice.
Oh.
The next season, he was hitting like 780 on high fastballs.
Yeah, he did some work in the offseason.
Yes, and it just became, there's nowhere you can pitch Mike Trout that's going to be effective. That's what it feels like we're seeing with Victor Wembanyama right now.
Yeah.
Like he's just learning how to dominate
Be
the
incredible.
way he should dominate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you mentioned going into the Kings game, he was not shooting it great from 3. But the game before that, in a loss to Utah, 6 of 9 against the Kings, 6 of 12 against the Wizards last night, 8 of 16. He's just figuring stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Only 6 boards, 2 assists though, 3 blocks.
Yeah. I think he's good, Kyle.
I think he's going to be okay. Here's
Yeah.
his last 3 stat lines: 24 and 16, 24 points, 16 rebounds, 7 blocks. Then he had 34 points, 14 boards, 6 assists, 3 blocks. And then 56 and 2 with 3 blocks.
It's pretty good.
So dumb. It's stupid.
Kyle, I think
It's
we got to hit a
We do.
we got to hit a break.
We do. We're going to talk more about the NBA. There's a fun Thursday night game tonight. He's James. I'm Kyle. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. Back in a second.
Yes, Sean, I do know that Wemby is 7'4" and shoots the ball above his head, and he's got an 8-foot wingspan.
No, but there's something to be said for, like, remember,
You get into his body and you don't let him shoot that. It's tough.
That's why Chris Paul was always really good at defending, like, bigger, taller players.
Chris Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, he eats the space and he gets into their body so they can't get off the ground.
When I think it was 2019, the Clippers just had no business being in their first round series against the Warriors, but they took them to 6 games in part because Patrick Beverley just guarded the shit out of Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverley's what, 6'2"?
Something like
generously.
that. Yeah.
And smaller guy, low man wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing how Wemby evolves, but B, how teams evolve to defend him.
Hey, if you're not going to the Kings game on Saturday and you need something to do, head out to UC Davis. UC Davis has a huge football game this weekend. They've won 9 straight. They're playing, I think, is it Montana State? Whichever one. They have a 10. They've won 10 straight. So you have 2 like super heavyweights battling. I think Davis is. They were number 3. I mean number 4, and I don't know where they are now.
I'm gonna go check in on Joe and Jonathan to make sure we're all set. We still got a few minutes.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Montana State. That's who they're playing. Again, UC Davis is 9-1 on the season, and they're number 2. They're number 2 in the FCS rankings. There we go. You get a free turkey? Hell yeah. Nice. Yeah, they're rolling. What else is happening here in the chat? Anyone? Yeah. Is it Lan? Larison? Yeah, he's a stud. Oh, so UC Davis finishes with Sac State on the 23rd, the Causeway Classic. Yeah, Adam, we might get to that. That might be part of what we're talking about next. Who loses first? Yeah, unexpected.
I've never been more optimistic about the direction the station is going.
About the what?
The direction the station is going.
Sweet.
Everybody who runs boards now has their own logins.
Oh,
Because it used to be Jesse would be the only guy who had a login. So if Jesse was on vacation and I needed to run the board for D'Lo and Casey and I needed to log into the things I need to log into, and Jesse had changed his password from the last time I had it,
okay.
I wouldn't be able to log in. Because my profile wasn't set up with that stuff.
Yeah.
So now my profile has it. Joe's profile is going to have it. It's big time.
Sweet.
This is so big time. This is
Yep.
just.
This is a horribly morbid question, Sean. Like I don't know.
Oh my
First,
God.
I'm carrying Kyle out. If Kyle's there, I'm carrying Kyle out. That's it. I mean, it's
think
not
I'm-
gonna do any good for my back. My first instinct would go scoop up Gary Gerald and carry Gary Gerald out.
That's a good one.
But then I have to start playing like the moral game.
So I think I am first person I'm picking up is Matt George, because that you can just kind of sling him over your shoulder, and now I can get more people.
That's true. Matt
So I'll start
George.
with
Yeah.
Matt. I'll get you over the other shoulder, and then I'm going and I'm getting Jerry under the armpits, and we're dragging
Gary.
him out.
Yeah, Gary.
What did I say?
You said Jerry.
Oh, Gary.
Yeah.
Gary Gerald.
Yeah.
Jerry
yeah.
Reynolds.
I also like one of my first moves. I'd probably grab Frankie Cardicelli. He's got a baby on the way.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
Yep.
you got to do what's right for. Again, that's where you start playing the ethical games. Like who's got the most life left in front of them.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
We've gone too far down this rabbit hole.
I
We're
know.
done.
That's
Here we
why.
go.
Yeah.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
All right, I got a thumbs up from our engineer, Jonathan. We are so back. He's James, I'm Kyle. We're the Insiders, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. Rocking with you until noon, then the handoff will happen, and D'Lo and KC will take over. We were talking about Giannis scoring 59. He outscored the Pistons in overtime by himself. Just
I'm still lost in this. You just got a thumbs up. So in one day, you gave someone a thumbs down, and you got a thumbs up from someone else.
This is just, I am just cooking today. No, I got a weird look from Jonathan as we were coming back, and I thought maybe I had done something wrong, which is just my default
Yeah.
all the time. And so that's why I was confirming, okay, am I good? And he was like, oh, I guess. It was a hesitant thumbs up, but a thumbs up nonetheless. I'm taking it with me.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I feel like I need to give someone a thumbs up on the road now.
Okay.
I'm starting to feel bad about thumbs downing that guy.
But will they
earlier.
believe it's will they believe it's a legitimate thumbs up, or will they think it's a sarcastic thumbs up?
No, because it's like a nice. A sarcastic thumbs up would be like you do the like eyes like, yeah, okay. mhm.
Okay.
Imagine the face you make when you go, okay, guy,
Okay, guy.
is that face. So if I'm like, if it's a thumbs up and it's like a nod as well, like my man. I got to do that on the road today. LeBron James, elsewhere in the NBA last night, of course, the Kings thumped the Suns 127-104. Meanwhile, the Lakers beat the Grizzlies. LeBron had his third straight triple-double. He had a 30-point triple-double last night, which is just bananas in and of itself, considering that he turns 40 in a month. So he's dragging the Lakers along. Has a 30-point triple-double last night. When he had his first triple-double, there were 30 current NBA players who weren't born yet.
That's wild.
I-
That's a
there are-
crazy stat.
2 entire teams worth of players were not alive when LeBron James recorded his first 30-point triple-double, and last night he has 35, 12, and 14 in 37 minutes.
It really is remarkable how he just keeps playing at such a crazy level. I mean, for the season, 24.3, 9.4 assists, 8 rebounds.
Come on, man.
Are you kidding me? He's
Come on.
40.
Come on. I hate saying we'll never see anything like this again, because I kind of thought, hey, you know what? We'll never really quite see a player like Kevin Durant. But then you see Wemby shooting 8 of 16 from 3, and it's like, maybe that's where his development track is going. That realm of player. He has a ways to go to get to where Kevin Durant is, but you see kind of the track, right? Just a dude taller than Kevin Durant who shoots it from outside and is just ridiculous. I genuinely don't think we'll ever see anything like LeBron ever again. And I'm so comfortable saying that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I've always thought I don't think we'll ever see another Shaq. Just because like Shaq, like one of the biggest, because it wasn't just that he's 7'2", 300 pounds, but his athleticism at that size. Like, I just don't know that we'll ever see, but the longevity of LeBron is just crazy. I mean, he looked like a 28-year-old guy when he was 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Like, he's been built like this his whole life. But I never thought, because of his leaping ability and because he plays above the rim, I never thought his body would hold up like this. Because it's never happened. There's never been he's played a lot of his career at 270.
Yeah.
And, sure, he's played a lot around 255. But 6'8", 6'9", that like acrobatic, like dunk guy, that's crazy that he's been able to hold up.
And just evolving his game too. Shot 41% from 3 last year, 45.9 this year.
It's
knowing
crazy.
that he's going to have to rely on that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I just, LeBron is good is not like a fun or like new take.
Yeah, we're not like,
but I just don't want it to get lost, right? Like I always felt like growing up, I always felt like I would hear about Joe Montana and I remember the tail end of Jerry Rice with the Niners, but I wasn't there for like prime Jerry Rice, right? And I'd hear about all these great Dennis Eckersley and Jose Canseco and all these great players from like before my sports watching prime, right?
Yeah.
And I would always go, man, you know what? I'll never like get to experience. I feel like I'm never going to get to experience legends like that. But the fact of the matter is, we do.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it in the moment, but I'm trying to do better about appreciating it in the moment. And that's why I just don't want it to get lost when, okay, are Kings fans rooting for the Lakers? No. Are they rooting for LeBron? No. But when he has 35, 14, and 12 or whatever he had last night, a month shy of his 40th birthday in a Laker win, it's like, damn, man. That's a unbelievable player.
We gave this respect the same way when it came to Ohtani.
Yeah. Like
Shohei is something special.
Yep.
And the fact that he put up a 50-50 season, what was it, 54-54, right?
It was, I don't think the numbers were the same, but it was something ridiculous.
Yeah, he didn't get to like a 55-55 though. He's like a slight
56-54 something like
that. Yeah. The fact that he did that, and oh, by the way, he couldn't pitch because he had Tommy John surgery, but he's a legit number 2 starter for a championship team.
Mm-hmm.
That's just crazy.
54. Where's stolen bases? 54-59.
Whew.
Come on, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just sometimes, it, like you said, you may not like it. I'm sure Giants fans are so sick of hearing about Shohei Ohtani, but it's like, hey, man, you're going to hear about Shohei Ohtani forever. He is a legend. He is not going away. He is in the annals of baseball history now.
It's absolutely incredible.
Buckle up.
Yeah. Shout out to John Bull. What did
John Bull say?
Yeah. A nice thing.
Great point.
John Bull said a nice thing about us.
That's really, really nice.
Yep.
That's really, really nice.
I didn't know John Bull can say nice things to us on the air. Good for you, John Bull.
YouTube.com/ESPN1320, Twitch.tv/ESPN1320 if you would like to hang out with us in the chatty house. It's a great time there. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube. That's James Ham and Kyle Madsen. We're the insiders, and we're here every day from 10 a.m. to noon.
Unless there's a gas leak.
In which case we're here 10 a.m.
to 10:25, and then we're back at 10:47, and we do a live show from the car.
So we're here every day, and of course the James Ham and Kyle Madsen show. That's the podcast version of this show. It is available wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to catch up on anything or you want to revisit anything, please download and subscribe wherever you get your pods. The Blazers beat the Timberwolves again. Are the Blazers better than we thought, or are the Timberwolves worse than we thought?
I think it's possible that neither of those things are true.
Okay.
I think the Blazers are not better than we thought, and that they are bad.
5-8.
I also think that it's possible that the Timberwolves are just kind of in the same range that the Kings are, where they're trying to figure out how to play with that new piece.
I agree.
And so it's possible that they are still a very good team, and it's also possible that the Blazers just are catching a team who's not very good right now, which is the Timberwolves, which the Kings play on Friday night.
Minnesota and Portland have played in 3 out of Minnesota's last 4 games.
Boy, if you're Minnesota, you thought you were coming out of that like second in the West.
Well, they beat Portland 127-102 on November 8th. Then they lost to Miami, and then they lost to Portland twice.
Again, Portland.
I just don't know. My worry if I'm the Timberwolves, because Minnesota is now sitting at 6-6, and they've lost a couple now to the Blazers. Their other loss I mentioned to Miami. They've lost to the Spurs this year. They had a loss to Dallas, and they opened their season with a loss against the Lakers. Yeah, they're integrating a new piece and trying to figure that out, and that's going to take time. But with DeMar DeRozan, is he fully integrated and everything's perfect? No, not yet. But like, you see the vision, and it's been working out okay. It's like, man, it's good, and now there's room to grow. I'm still not sold that the Julius Randle fit is good for Minnesota.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I'd also, with the Kings, I want to see that last night's game, the 3-point shooting, the way that the ball hopped, the 38 assists.
Yeah.
Can you do that with DeMar DeRozan? Or can you not play that style with DeMar? And that, to me, it's a big question. But that's always going to be the question, right? Like, this is a very, very similar team to what it was last year. The ball moved last night. The ball,
it looked like the Kings.
Yeah, it found the right player time and time again, and those players were ready to shoot and engage. So now, how do you mix the two styles? Because what you can't do is, like, when he steps off the court, that's when you do XYZ. I don't know. Maybe that is how they have to play the rest of the season. Maybe it is that, like, because the opening lineup has been great with DeMar in it, but maybe when he steps off the court, you have to shift gears and play a very different style of basketball. I don't know.
I mean, maybe that's tough though. And I think that was the big the real concern. There were people going, oh, but what about the defense? The real concern was that.
Yeah.
Like, in theory, he fits in X, Y, and Z ways, but and I know that there are, the net rating on their opening and closing lineups is outstanding, and he's had all these 20-point games, and that's awesome. But are they maximizing what they can be? And is it just kind of a push and pull all year, where we're looking and going, hey, they won 48 games because they lost 3 or 4 where they couldn't figure out what they were doing offensively for 6 or 7 minutes of game time?
Yeah, I totally get that concern, but I want to give the Kings the same leeway that we're talking about giving Minnesota, or we talk about giving New York.
Yeah, yes.
You changed a major piece. You had some injuries. Like, I know we get so hyper focused on the game in and game out, and the fact that the Kings are 7-5, I think everyone's like, oh, they should be like a game or 2 better than that.
They probably should.
Like, okay, but they just beat the 9-4 Suns twice. 9-3.
Yeah, they only have 3 losses, and the Kings are 2 of them.
Okay. Yeah. So they just beat them twice.
Yeah.
And so you can't just say, you look at your schedule and say, oh, you're going to get 2 against the Suns, and you should have won that game against Toronto, and you should have won that game against San Antonio on the second night of back-to-back. Like, look, there are things that they're doing wrong and that they need to clean up for sure. But at the same time, this is an evolution of a team, and I want to see what they look like at Christmas. I want to see what they look like heading into the All-Star break, or heading into the trade deadline. Yeah. Because, like, there's a good chance that this team looks totally different. And we need to let this team grow organically and see what they look like at that point.
Yeah, I feel really good about where they're at, to be clear.
It's funny because we didn't feel that way yesterday or the day before.
No, I meant Damian Barling's here. I meant from the just DeMar DeRozan specifically.
Yeah.
Like, the concern I brought up was more, hey, if this goes sideways, this is how it would likely go sideways. From a just integrating DeMar DeRozan standpoint, they're, to me, levels above where, and I haven't watched a ton of Minnesota Timberwolves basketball, but the bits I've seen, it's like, man, the Kings are ahead of where they are in integrating Julius Randle. Karl Anthony Towns has been awesome for the Knicks, but they're struggling to figure out. I think their problem might be more than Karl Anthony Towns. I think
Well,
they
it might be
just
their
have
depth.
they might just
Yeah.
have a problem where they don't have enough NBA players. Damian Barling in the building for the handoff. D'Lo and KC coming up at noon.
Well, unless we evacuate.
Unless there's a gas. Dude, they said there's a gas leak. They think there's a gas leak inside. Go outside.
No, it's amazing.
And then they
As
said,
if the bottom of the building didn't smell like gas yesterday.
oh wait, the gas leak's outside. You can go back inside.
Excellent. And you know who came back inside? You and no one else.
Well,
It's just us.
I walked in. Well,
oh yeah, dude. No,
New Aaron is here. Jackie's here. Of course, Complex never. But the Complex, I'm surprised he even evacuated the building. I figured he'd just go down
Dude,
with
he
the gas.
you just
He
grabbed
just,
a gas
open
mask.
Yeah, he's
or
like,
open the
no,
window.
Complex, I got too much work to do. I'm not going for this. Which is probably what you guys did the right thing. I would have gotten angry and been like, no, I'm not going.
No.
And they would have had to send somebody to get me.
That was I didn't want to.
You're the
make a
nice
bad
guy.
first
No, I
impression.
got you. You're the nice guy.
Well-
I'm kind of a. I can be difficult. I can be hard to deal with.
Well, yeah, but
It's fine. It's true. Like
No, it's good.
I can be extreme. Okay. Clearly, I have to eliminate that from my
It's
my
just-
repertoire.
It's the only thing that pops into my head when I think of Damian impressions.
Yeah. Well. All right.
What?
No, it's fine. No, it's okay. All right. All right. Whatever. What? This is stupid. I don't have to stand for this, New Aaron.
He's gonna leave. Damian's
Does he
gonna
know
leave.
we call
I'm
him New
gonna
Aaron?
evacuate. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know what we call him. I guess it is New Aaron because I always call the tribal chief Old Aaron.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's our life
Well,
now.
Well, I don't want to start throwing people under the bus here, but somebody in the building went up to one of the other people in the building yesterday and said, "Hey, Miller wants to talk to you."
Mm.
And the person goes, whatever the company is that is the beer company,
Mhm.
Miller.
Mhm.
And she was like, "That company?" They're like, "No, New Aaron." Like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. So we can't call him that.
Anheuser-Busch? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Anheuser-Busch. Yeah.
Well, I think our friends over at 106.5 had an idea where if we start calling Aaron, Old Aaron, Roberts, and then we could transition to Robert, and then we could start calling him Bobby. So just out of nowhere,
Yes.
we'll start calling Old Aaron Bobby.
Yes.
And
The
I could
tribal
just,
chief is in the building.
I
It's
could-
Bob.
I could just imagine that infuriating him.
Oh, he
So
would hate it.
I'm all for it.
Yep.
If we just
Yep.
all start calling him Bobby,
Yeah.
like we win
I'm sending out a company-wide email without Bobby.
without
on it.
Bobby on it. Yeah, yeah,
for
that's
sure.
a good
Let
call.
There it
everybody
is.
know.
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah, it works.
Odyssey points to whoever
Yep.
calls him Bobby.
Well, the
Well, I think they've all
106.5
been given
folks,
away.
Hashtag community.
Yeah.
our 106.5 friends, they are the Odyssey Point grifters.
No, they are.
It's
They are.
outrageous. So,
Yeah.
so if you're unfamiliar, we get these things called Odyssey points.
Yeah.
That you can distribute. It's like an internal reward.
They
system.
describe it perfectly. It's like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. So Damien covers for me doing something one day. I say, hey, here's 5 points for Damien for hashtag community and hashtag
I can buy a hat.
creativity.
Yeah.
No,
and you
5
can-
points gets you nothing.
Well, you know what I mean. I can save up and get a hat.
Yeah. And so you accumulate points and you can buy Odyssey branded things.
Yes, because
You can buy advertising.
Yes, you could buy a backpack with Odyssey.
I did.
logo. No,
I
I
did that
see that.
today.
I saw
Well,
that.
that's
yeah.
not. This is my old backpack.
I've
though.
got 5 points in my bank that I'm never spending because I'm spiteful.
Well, you got to save.
They're just no.
You just gotta
There's
save.
5 points in there that will never be spent.
There you
There's
go.
a
I'm just
cash
gonna
entry.
leave them there.
You can just enter like 4 times a quarter to win a bunch of cash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's
I-
like
I
a
didn't know that.
$1,000
move.
giveaway.
Because I don't know how many people do that. Like part of me thinks, hey, if I do that, I'm winning.
Hmm.
Because definitely nobody's doing
Because
this,
it's
right?
like you and no one else doing it.
But then are they over there in corporate in Philly? Like everybody's like, oh yeah, the cash contest, and that's what everybody does.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I was trying to save up and send as many points to Kyle as possible so we could get him the clear see-through fanny pack. But then they took it off it's no longer available.
That's a big thumbs down for me.
Yeah, big thumbs.
You
down.
could see him wearing a clear see-through.
Odyssey
No, I don't
branded
think
pack.
you can.
bum
No,
bag.
I don't think you can.
All right.
Do you need to see the fit check video from Disneyland? That's not my.
Uh,
It's not my bag.
that's funny.
She said she got her
Chevron,
Chevron.
It was
Yeah,
at
I got mine.
Chevron.
I have one that's very similar. I got it at CVS down the street.
and it's a Disney one.
Yeah, of course.
It's terrific.
Yeah.
I love that.
Amazing.
I absolutely
Salute to
love
Disney.
that. But I was text like at 6 a.m. Hey, send me all your Odyssey points, please. Oh, sure. No problem. You can only, I had like 50. You can only send 30 to somebody.
Mhm.
All right. So this is what then Kevin, I mean, that was obviously to Katie.
Right.
Kevin immediately, hey, how come you sent Katie points, but not me? Oh, sorry. Then it became clear something's going on in that room right now.
Yep.
I
You
sent
know what it was?
I sent Kevin 10 points. I only had 9 left, so I sent the rest of them to Kevin.
Kevin is trying to get the Odyssey bento box. There's an Odyssey bento box. That's what he's trying to get.
What is he going to do with that?
Put bento in it.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's a unique group of people that work here.
It is.
It's very interesting. You saying that right as Dougie T walked by.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like,
Yeah. Absolutely.
perfect.
Nailed it.
And they're very much like Schrute bucks.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
yes,
they have the
that's
same
what they are.
value. Yep. They have the same value as Schrute bucks.
That's exactly what they are. The Kings made some threes last night.
How about that?
They look normal.
They
Look like the Kings.
They did.
It was nice.
No, that was it was a feel-good moment at the Golden One Center. Keegan hitting threes, Kevin not, and still being super productive until he hit a couple in the third quarter. Like, that was awesome. And you saw Keegan hitting some shots when he was doing what he was doing defensively on Devin Booker. No DeMar DeRozan. Domas probably having the weirdest game of his career.
So odd.
Just terrible turnovers that I think you noted in your 6 quick thoughts. 1 shot in the paint, 3 for 3 from behind the arc, and they walk away with a win in which Bud pulled the players at like 5-12. That's like that. I wasn't expecting that, but as a Kings fan, you can't ask for much more.
No
and
doubt.
the crowd, I mean, there was a roller coaster for sure.
Mhm.
A 26-point lead disappearing. You had a lead in the first half that kind of disappeared. Kind of gave you that uneasy feeling, but I don't mind games where those runs happen and the Kings elevate themselves back up and put the game away. And I think it's the second time, obviously a far, far better opponent because I believe they did this. I can't remember if it was Portland or Utah.
Portland.
There was that run, and then it was like, put this away, shut the game down. It winds up being a blowout. And that was beautiful.
More of that on D-Lo and KC coming up next.
Absolutely.
That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. Back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Until then, drink water and be nice to people.